Brodes Media.
We got VIC Fangio and Kellen Moore addressing the Philly media for the first time, and there were a few things that were interesting. Some positives, some negatives. Let's start with Kellen Moore, and we'll start with the positives because I'm a very positive man. I'm just excited, number one here, because I've seen some pretty damn respected numbers out of Dallas's offense when he was at the head of it and when he was the face of that offense. There were some pretty strong, solid numbers when you associate what their offense was doing compared to all of the other offenses in the league. And when you think of A.J. Brown, this offensive line, Devontae Smith, and Saquon Barkley, that's a lot. Like, that is a ton of firepower, and you can make the argument whether they figure it out or not, whether they have the right pieces in place to actually put it all together and make the offense hum. I don't know, but I do know that we're in a better position this year compared to last year. Has a lot of creativity in what he wants to do. He'll utilize pre-snap movement, getting to number 2. Ding, ding, ding. One guy, Nick Sirianni, says he's not going to motion just a motion, and then I get to hear Kellen Moore, a guy who understands the actual logic of football, and he stresses the importance of figuring out what the defense is running based off of actually utilizing pre-snap action. We'll get to play action. We'll talk about getting under center and utilizing like normal strategy so we can get some bootleg play action, get him going out of the pocket, have teams bite on the potential handoff to Saquon Barkley under center. I'm just saying. I don't know why it's so damn difficult. But pre-snap movement can cause confusion in the secondary. Trust me, I watched the secondary all year long. Confused as hell when other teams are going in motion. Why can't we ever do that? I watch our defense get crushed by it. So the fact that Kellen Moore is going to utilize that to his advantage, bravo! The bar set super low, but bravo. And here's another very important piece to the puzzle of success offensively. And I don't put as much blame on Brian Johnson or Nick Sirianni on this one, because if I was just telling you how I feel, I don't think Jalen Hurts was healthy last season. And we'll never know. And yes, a lot of guys play banged up. And if you're out there on the field, there's zero excuses. You need to do your thing so this team could go win, because if you're not going to play well, then what you're battling through is clearly limiting you enough where maybe a healthy backup is better, right? Just in theory, when you're discussing an injury, if you're not playing at a level that satisfies, meaning if you can't run the ball and be a special weapon with your legs, that really takes away from the 3 dimensions of this offense. And the reason why this team was so damn lethal in 22 was because of the threat of him running the ball. And I don't think he was capable of doing it. Therefore, the offense that was already super simple and very vanilla got even more vanilla because you took an element out of it. But I don't blame Brian Johnson or Sirianni for that. I truly think it's just they had to find a way to work around that part of the playbook because Jalen isn't 100%. And, you know, I know the difference of what this offense can be. And when he has that jump, when he has that juice behind his running, tough runner, big guy, hard to bring down, holds onto the football super tight, leans over, takes 5 defenders to bring him down. He moves the chains. It all starts at the line of scrimmage, though, when there's an option on it, and he gets to read and react. But when you take that part away from the offense, you can see how much that changes things, especially defensively. The other team, what they can throw your way, what they can commit to. Oh, he's not a threat? Well, what are we worried about then? So I expected, especially early, when he's at least as healthy as he'll probably be, because once you get 4 or 5 games in, there's always something that's going to linger. But here's my negative on the Kellen Moore front. He was talking about blending the good from last year with what he feels is his offense and then also try to marry it. So what you're doing is finding the right terms, and he was pretty big on the word just in regards to like communication and verbal and making sure that you're on with the terms. Like you guys all have to be on the same page when we are talking out there on the field. So let me get this straight. You're taking some of Nick's offense, you're taking some of your own offense, and then you're making terms based off of those two that you're not really comfortable with. It's new to you as well, and you're trying to teach that also. Doesn't that feel very clunky? Like, isn't the job now to remove Nick Sirianni from the offense? There was nothing that was good last year. What was good? Don't tell me screens. Don't tell me wide receiver screens. Don't tell me asking Devontae Smith to be a lead blocker when you're utilizing a tight end screen. No, no, no. There's nothing good. So that might just be a bullshit lie to try and make Nick Sirianni look differently with public perception. It shouldn't be that way. What we need to see is have Kellen Moore run what is acceptable in his eyes. Forget what they did last year. Forget Nick Sirianni. What does Kellen Moore do? Take all of your words, take all of your terms, and just run what you do. Because now I think you're overcomplicating it. You're trying to do too much. Now there's all these outside elements. We needed to get back to stability. We needed to find someone comfortable enough who understands the NFL offense and how to run an offense on a day-to-day basis, on a week-to-week basis, on a play-by-play basis. And that should be Kellen Moore, not getting cute and fancy and trying to pluck things that aren't his. Do what's yours. Let's just get this out of the way front and center, nice and early. Kellen Moore has the opportunity here to run the show. Run your terms, your beliefs, your concepts. Don't try and blend and this and that, because now everyone's out of whack. Everyone's out of sync. Even if VIC Fangio demands more practices. And that's transfer over to VIC Fangio right now, because I look at that as a positive and a negative. No matter how we feel about today's athlete and the modern athletes and how back in the day they used to run suicides until you threw up and they said you're not allowed to get water and you need to be dehydrated because that's the only way you showed that you worked your ass off today. That's the style of coaching that I grew up on when I was skating for the first time at 4 years old. Coach Gay throwing that wooden stick over our iTech helmets, breaking it in half because we weren't skating hard enough. And that's what it was all about. These athletes don't do that these days. So there is a part of me that wonders, VIC Fangio apparently was discussing it with Nick Sirianni, that I want more time in the preseason. I want more mandatory camps. I want more practices. Almost knocked all my notes over. But I want more practices so we can install this defense and install what we want to run. Because when things get rough, I'm not going to be able to have a magic potion. But will you lose players because of that? Because nowadays, once again, whether you like it or not is a totally different combo. What I'm talking about right now is the reality of it. And the reality is these athletes don't take coaching hard anymore. They don't like two-a-days. They don't put the pads on anymore. They don't tackle to the ground. So if you have Mr. Old School banging his fist on the table and kicking the doors in, will they accept that? Not should they. Will they accept that? Some positives on VIC Fangio? When asked about his scheme, I do like him talking about it just takes good players, man. And I think sometimes when you talk to a lot of these coaches, for example, if you were talking to Bill Belichick about what he does and what he could do with the team, and if he was looking at a roster, what he thinks he could do. I just feel a lot of guys in football are very true to what they believe in, to the point where it's so stubborn, it's scary. But my scheme works. You know, just the belief in this is how it works for me. There's a lot of guys that feel that way around the league. And VIC Fangio does have a system, right? There's a reason why this league has 1 million million defensive coordinators that love Vic Fangio's ideas, and they run what he does, and at least attempts to really nitpick a lot of his approach and do what's best for them to mix that in with their own beliefs. Everything's about Vic Fangio defensively in this league. So obviously there is a scheme that he's super heavy on, but a lot of guys die with the sword of, it's what I do that's so good. He's saying, look, it's about having the ballers out there. You give me the ballers and I'll be okay. Just go get me the good talent.